Welcome, everyone. This is Legionnaire. Welcome to another video. This time we're talking about Street Fighter 6, the latest and greatest from Capcom in their efforts to recoup the losses they've had in their fighting games the last few years with Street Fighter 5 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So, does Street Fighter 6 hold up to the Street Fighter name, or does it flounder like Street Fighter 5? Let's get into it.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back. I'm ready for a fight when it's on, it's on. I'm charging like a bull when it's on, it's on. Street Fighter 6.
So let's talk about Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 released recently on June 2nd. It's the sixth game in the Street Fighter series, but do not let that fool you. Each game has had at least 3 or 4 versions. From Street Fighter 2 to Hyper Fighting, to Championship Edition, to Turbo, to Super Turbo HD Remix. It's had a lot. Street Fighter Alpha had 3 different ones, but not different versions. Those were actually sequels. Just made very quickly. Back in the 90s, they used to make games quickly. There was no time for this 6 or 7 year dev cycle like it is now. So, Street Fighter 6. Last time we saw Street Fighter 5 came out in 2016, I believe. To middling sales, I'd say. It came out with no story and no arcade mode. That's right. No freaking arcade mode. I was shocked, chat, okay? I couldn't believe my eyes. But quickly they came out with a story mode that was ass. It was terrible. But it was so cheesy that I had so much fun getting drunk and playing it. Which we need to do on the stream. Then they continuously upgraded the game, updated it, balance changes, and they brought it up to speed. Then they got to focus on Street Fighter 6. And here we are. Street Fighter 6, how is it? Well, damn, it's amazing. This is the best launch for a fighting game in a while. Not since, what was it, Mortal Kombat 11, which was 4 years ago. We had such a big launch for a game. And it's great. They've got all the staples. They got your Ryu. You got your Ken. You got your Chun-Li. You got your Cammy. You don't have your Bison, which I like seeing, but we've seen him so many times, it's okay. I'm not going to complain. And we have new people. We've got Marissa. We've got Jamie. We've got JP. This game shipped with an arcade mode, chat. That is an applaud in itself. Because that cannot always be said now, which is mind-blowing. But they've got one for 5 rounds, one for 10 rounds, 12 rounds. So it's got you covered. And that's all I asked for, you know? Arcade mode? Street Fighter 5 did get an arcade mode, by the way, which I thought was alright, but not great. This game shipped with a world tour mode, which is its story mode. In this world tour mode, you create your own character. We did it live on my stream. Check out the Twitch link below. We had a blast doing that. I made some weird monstrosity with a super long gray beard, red Cheeto hair. It was hilarious. We went into the world tour mode. You start with Luke. They do really nice cutscenes for Luke. You meet your rival. It's all very cheesy. This guy, we run into him. He's our rival. We go around. We do little things like being sent to alleyways to fight this gang, which is like a box TV gang. It's hilarious. Or this other gang who is from Final Fight, which is pretty cool. The area, the world concept is really nice because this reminds me of Mortal Kombat Conquest. Guys, you all know, if you're a Mortal Kombat fan from the last 20 years, we've been trying to get another Conquest like the one from Deception forever now. And Capcom said, hold my beer. Here it is. You guys want something like that, and they're not giving it to you because they're doing amazing movie level stories. over there at NRS. Well, we got you. We didn't do so hot at the story last time, but this time we're just going to create a big open world and let you do whatever the hell you want in it. Seriously, chat. You can walk around, you can punch anybody in the street. It's hilarious. You can walk up to the ice cream man. You said you gave him more ice cream. You gave him more ice cream. We fight now for the honor of my ice cream. It's all so fun. They've got a clothes shop. You go to different parts of this city. They call it Metro City, or as I like to say, Metrocity. You meet up with different mentors. You go see Chun-Li. You go see some of the new characters like Marissa. And you go to those little sections. Those sections are not as big, the little cities that you go to. But that's okay. You know, not every area has to be a huge city. That would take a long time to make. I will be honest with you. I did not finish this mode because I got, like, it's one of those things you got to be in the mood for, you know, because there's no real substance to it. You go around and you fight people. You gain powers for your character, and you can take your character into the arena, the dome. The world tour is great. You meet a lot of your famous mentors, Ken, Ryu. You get cool cutscenes. You get a little bit of insight into their backstory. That's great. That's exactly what I wanted. I don't need a super fancy story every time. This is perfect. Some interaction with them, you know? But it is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Because in between those moments, you gotta grind. You gotta go out. You gotta fight people. You gotta fight people to level up. And they'll send you on menial tasks. And sometimes you're not sure where you need to go. But you do eventually proceed. And I got at least halfway before I stopped, I think. But for those of you who like to do random things, you can create the weirdest character you wanted in here. You could create characters from thousands of franchises. People have been making characters all the time. If you go on Twitter and you look up Street Fighter 6 Freaks, you'd be able to see some of the funniest stuff ever. Some funny recreations. Samuel L. Jackson I've seen. Homer Simpson. If you go watch Maximilian, dude, he's the fighting game guy, especially the one that I like to watch. And he has been having freak fights in the arcade hub, which is hilarious to watch. But speaking of the arcade hub, I love the arcade hub. This is like next level hub right here for fighting games. They've had this in other games, you know, System Works fighting games have had this. Dragon Ball Z had a little hub, you know. They've had hubs before, but I love this hub because it comes with so many aspects. It's true arcade room, which anybody who grew up with arcades, you know, they're getting older, but this is a nice throwback. You know, brings back that arcade feel. You could sit down in an arcade machine. Somebody could sit down on the opposite side of you and fight you. I'll tell you, we're done. Then you got off the machine. You can train on there. They've got ones that have classic games on them. Like they have a little corner where they'll have like a retro game every week that's different. One week it's Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. One week it's Final Fight 2. One week it's Street Fighter Alpha. Well, all those classics, they got them, and they put them there and they change them like at least once a week. So I love that. There's a little photo booth area. All the shops are there. If you want to, you know, buy some things for your character, there's a few shops. There's a tournament hub, which brings us to the online. The online works great. I can't complain at all. I've had no issues playing the online on the PS4 Pro. I know I need a PS5. I'm working on it. And it's just been flawless, I think. They did a really good job. They had enough betas leading up to the release that they could hone the system, that they could make sure that it works. That the online's not going to crash on day one. Which it did have as minor issues, but most games do when, what is it, like 1 million people log in on one day? I mean, there's going to be a few issues. But they cleared them out quickly, and the game is running great. It's been, what is it, a month and a half now since the game came out, and it's still going strong. People are still interested in it. The online is working well. You come with a ranked mode, a casual match mode, where you set your favorite character and then you go online and you always have the same character until you change it. I've done a lot of casual matches because Unfortunately, I'm not a hardcore player. You know, I don't play fighting games every day, but when I get that itch, you know, I go back and I play them. And Street Fighter 6, you know, I was playing Street Fighter 5 for years. I'd go back every 3 or 4 months, play a little Street Fighter there, or sometimes the classics. Especially since it was like 4 or 5 years since Street Fighter 5, so you gotta alternate. Also play Tekken, Mortal Kombat, of course. So I do a lot of casual matches, and I do get into the rank though. I do like a little bit of that competition, so I go on and see how long I can last. And I did do pretty good with Ken, and I did pretty good with Marissa and Jamie. Never any high ranks. I think at the highest was Ken, probably. That's because he's a Shoto, and I mean, most people know how to play with the Shoto, right? I think if I went back online now, which I have been doing a little bit, not too much offline, my book is real good online. A lot of people have figured out the metas, let me tell you. But it just works, chat, and I'm happy about that. So Street Fighter Online, thumbs up from me. You can boot it up, you load up, you update the game, what have you. You load in, and you don't even have to go to the battle hub. You can just go to the fighting window and hit ranked and search from there. You don't have to go in. That's just very helpful for people who have other people maybe following them from server to server with the arcade hub. You can do casual matches from online as well. And that brings us to the rest of the modes. There's a squad battle mode, there's an arcade mode, or actually they call arcade mode in this game story mode, where you play as one of the characters and you do see some cool like art pieces, like a connecting story between the first and last match, you know, where they have just a little something for you. And when you win, you get a little cutscene, sometimes teasing a villain. I usually did 5 matches. I did 12 for Ken. I'm not sure if you're losing any story if you do 5 or 12. I don't know if they show the same cutscene, but I was satisfied with what I saw when I did the 5 matches with most of the characters that I played through with. I played through with quite a few, actually. I enjoy arcade mode. You know, it's simple. You get a little bit of story in there. You do some matches. You beat the boss, and then you move on to the next character. So I did it with Jamie, Ken, Ryu, of course, Luke, Marissa, Yuri, Chun-Li. I think a few more, but that's the ones that I remember for sure. So that's your big 3 modes for the game. For a start, it's not bad. You can't complain. The World Tour mode really brings that content that you're looking for the single player people who don't do a lot of online. The story mode, arcade mode, is good for those who just like to get on and spend 30 minutes to an hour and just play the game. And then right in that menu, you got ranked, casual matches you can search, or you can go into the battle hub, get into the arcade of it all, sit down at an actual machine, and challenge people. How do I feel about the gameplay? How do I feel about the actual fighting? I think the fighting feels good. People were a little nervous it was going to be slow at first, which is something that Mortal Kombat is currently going through. I am not the most detailed fighting game guy, so I'm not going to give you the detail of somebody like Maximilian Dude, who goes into every frame and every move. Myself, I think the characters move at a good pace. I can get into a good rhythm of fighting and giving them the 1-2 and then going into a special move, then pulling it back a little bit so that I can jump in again. And I've found a good rhythm with a lot of the characters. I'm really happy with this cast that they have. A lot of the new people are good. A lot of the classics that they brought back, they've updated them very well. I think for me, who has been playing Street Fighter for at least 20 years now, 20 years of my life, I would say it's not hard to pull off some of the classic moves. There's also some changes to the characters so that we know, and the new characters have good enough variety that you can change up your play style. If you want to get a little more challenging, they've got some new characters that do that. They got some old characters that bring the challenge with them, Blanca, Zangief, who are a little more trickier to use. But I think you can find a good rhythm in this game. I think there's a solid speed to the game, and matches don't go on for too long, and whenever you jump, it's not super slow or anything like that. So overall, I'd say the gameplay is pretty good. It feels a lot better to me than Street Fighter 5 did. And Street Fighter 4, was a little bit all over the place, but that was their comeback. So you got to be a little bit lenient with Street Fighter 4. But it feels like they really cared about every frame and where they wanted to make sure that people were able to clap back if they were in a corner, or there's ways for you to get unstuck out of a combo. So I'd say the gameplay really nails it here, and it keeps me coming back to the game every now and then. I'm definitely not putting Street Fighter 6 down anytime soon. So there's lots to look forward to. They got new characters coming every 3 months. Just when you think you're going to be disinterested, then they have something else for you to look forward to. Now, one thing to discuss real quick is that they're doing a little bit of the microtransaction stuff that they've done in Street Fighter V, which is selling costumes and different designs for characters. But this time they're doing battle passes, seasons. Each season comes with a set of designs and costumes for your characters, new titles, new name bars, a lot of customization items for your World Tour characters that you take to the Battle Hub. And overall, this doesn't really seem too intrusive, I think, you know, as far as monetization in fully priced games goes, this seems pretty tame. You know, Capcom sometimes can get out of hand, but they're usually, especially after their early 2010 fiascos with Street Fighter X Tekken and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they're a little more cautious these days to make sure that they don't repeat mistakes. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. And actually, if you enjoy the Battle Pass, you know, it's there for you. You can get more content. People who keep constantly playing the game every day has something to look forward to. So overall, definitely recommend Street Fighter 6 to everybody. If you're looking for a fighting game, you know, that's quirky, gives you some fun, lets you just sit back and play some matches or go around a wacky world and do random things like they do these days on the TikToks, check out the TikTok link below, then this is definitely for you. You know, there's not very often a new Street Fighter comes around, so I always like to check it out. And if you're a fighting game fan, of course, you're probably already checking it out. What do you guys think of Street Fighter 6? Who's your main? Have you hit master rank? Because I haven't, because I'm a filthy casual. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video.